a few months since I had a video. And that's okay. I want to address first here at Chart Wizard Trading. Notice the title of the channel here at Chart Wizard Trading. First, I want to address one thing. Okay. I am not a YouTuber. I know I have a channel on YouTube, but I am not a YouTuber. Okay. So like all of the comments and messages and private message and stuff that I get that you demand an update from me. Okay. I have a membership. Okay. That's available on wavecounts.com. I'm not an influencer. I'm not your Bitcoin shiller. I'm not a moon boy. I'm not any of that stuff. Okay. I just analyze charts. And I put them here on YouTube to give you some macro views every once in a while, basically when I feel like it, and to let you know that I do have a membership, and that's at wavecounts.com. Members get updates weekly, every week, and there's a Discord. You can ask questions, you could talk, you could schedule video chats with me, you can video chat with each other if you want to. You can see my analysis on a day-to-day and week-by-week basis on anything that's interesting. YouTube is not that venue, okay? So if you're expecting to see weekly updates like I'm some YouTuber or something, it's not going to happen, all right? If you want the updates, I have a membership, okay? It's really not all that expensive, to be honest with you. It's like $1 a day or something like that. And like it's not expensive. So anyway, here's a macro update for Bitcoin. Okay, we're going to start, okay, with a bearish opportunity. Okay, but I'm going to show the bullish side too. This is not just a one-sided thing that I'm going to show. This is going to be both. Okay. Now, this is the macro monthly chart. Okay. Now this thing is coming to an end. Okay. We are within a year on this thing. Okay, if it's not done already, right? But we'll get into that. Now, what we have is a very beautiful, beautiful Elliott wave. Okay. 5 waves up. So you look at the wake count here. Okay. You got 5 waves up. Okay. With an extended third wave. Okay. Extended third wave. That's this yellow one here. That's a third. Extended third wave. Okay. And an extended fifth wave, which is this yellow one here. Extended fifth wave. Most impulses contain 1 extension. This one contains 2. Okay, you have an extension in the third, and you have an extension in the fifth. All right, what that means is that the amplitude, okay, of the higher degree waves is similar to that of the lower degree waves, right? So what we have here, this being the smallest, okay, but you have a big 1, 2, okay, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, of similar amplitude, and then the extension here in the fifth, this yellow one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of similar amplitude, is the 1 and the 3 and the 5, okay. Inside of the third is an extension. Okay, so this is your most common extension, is the third wave extension. So the third wave has a third wave extension, okay, which means that these waves amplitude are similar to the ones above it. And the same goes for this. Here's the fifth wave extension. Now you can see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you don't really see much subdivision on this time frame, right? In the 1 and the 3, but you do in the fifth. So that is your fifth wave extension. Okay, most waves only have 1 extension. The white one has 2. Okay, 2 is the maximum, by the way. You cannot have more than 2. That's a hard rule. It can never be broken. You can only have 2 extensions in an impulse. Okay, so this white one here already has 2 extensions. The only question at this point Okay, and what this video will delve into is whether or not that this extension here is complete, or if it needs to continue, right? Which means that this 5 moves up, right, to wherever this goes, right? That's fine, because this impulse is also allowed to contain an extension, right? Just this one alone is allowed to have an extension. So that's the question on the table. The white one can have no more extensions. Once this one is over, this is all done. But this this orange one here, or I'm sorry, this yellow one here doesn't have an extension yet, so therefore it is allowed to have one. Okay. So that's the big monthly macro view. The question being, is it done yet, or does it have more to go? So let's break this down to a smaller time frame. Okay, I'm going to come all the way down to the daily on this one. And let's zoom it in. Okay. And we're only really considered with this. We don't really care about anything that happened over here because we already went over that many times. Okay. We're only really concerned with, is this part done? Okay. So from the perspective of, okay, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's your 2. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's your 3, a zigzag for 4. Okay. And is this 5th wave done? Okay. So if from the perspective of this right here, if we consider that this is a zigzag in the 4th, which is alternation, by the way, in the 2nd wave here, you have a flat. Okay. A flat pattern, regular flat. And then here you have a regular zigzag, a simple zigzag right here. Okay. And I've explained it before, but I'll show you how that breaks down. But I'll break those out so you can see the patterns. Okay. The 2, which is a flat, and the 4, which is a zigzag. Okay. Now I'll dig in a little bit onto how this is a zigzag. Okay. So right here, how a zigzag subdivides is 5, 3, 5. Okay. So the first wave here being a leading diagonal, right, for the A wave. Okay, you can break that out. That's the A wave, the leading diagonal. The B wave we have is a regular flat. Okay, so you have dun, 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 right there. That's a regular flat. So that connects in like so. So I'm going to go ahead and change the color of it just so you can see the differences. It's going to be A, B, and C. Okay. And this one on this time frame, it just happened. It's very quick and fast, which is typical of C waves. Okay. So you're not going to see much subdivision inside of it. Oops. Put that in there. Let's change that one to yellow. Okay. But just 5 waves down. Okay. And on a smaller time frame, you can go and pick out 5 waves there, but you have 5 flat 3, 5 for a zigzag. That whole thing is A, B, C, zigzag. Okay. But that doesn't mean that that's the entirety of 4. That's the question we need to answer. Okay. So that being a zigzag alone could be the entirety of 4, in which case you're waiting on more subdivision here. Okay, so we can label this out. We have a 3rd wave here. All right, so we can go ahead and we can label this out 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, I'm going to just pick a, well, what is this? We need to go smaller. So we're going to go 1, 2, that's the 3rd one down from minor. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That's the 4th one. Sorry, 4th. No, I was right the first time. Subminuet. There we go. Okay. And then this breaks down. We'll come back to this part. Okay. And this is all based on the assumption right now. I guess I'm starting with the bullish portion. I said I was going to start with the bearish, but we're already deep into the bullish part, so we'll continue with that. Okay. So we got the zigzag there. Okay. And we can isolate an impulse here. Okay, we're going to go down smaller, and we're going to go down to 4 hours so you can see the subdivision here. Okay, so we have 1, 2, this being some sort of, this is likely WXY, it's probably a W3. I'm sorry, a double 3. Being, you have an expanded flat, zigzag, and a zigzag. Okay. So a flat to zigzag combination is what that is. We call that a double three, which that's sideways, and you create a new extreme here with the A wave or the B wave of the A wave of the W. Okay. And that would give you an expectation that your fourth wave is either going to, because you want alternation, right, is either going to be a zigzag or it's going to be a contracting triangle. Okay. That's pretty much your two options there, because you don't want to create a new high with your fourth wave. Otherwise, you don't have alternation, right? And if we zoom on up, okay, to the fourth wave, okay, we can see we do have alternation because we just have a regular contracting triangle, which not a running triangle, which means the B wave does not create a new high, right? That is what the definition of alternation is. So from here, we have A, B, C, D, E. Okay, and we're going to fill in this chart as we go. And that's going to be 1 degree smaller. Okay, so we'll move it that. Actually, I like purple for my triangles. I don't know why. I just do. So I'm going to make it purple. Okay. But you have a contracting triangle for your fourth wave here. And then price action following a triangle is, they call it the thrust. Okay. And what you don't want to see is equality between 1 and 5. Okay. The thrust just means like you're not going to see any subdivision. It's just going to thrust and be done. Okay. Your other option is extremely extended, but that's off the table now because we've already, as you can see, we have the benefit of hindsight, and we've busted that. So you cannot get an extension from here. That is the completion of the fifth wave. Okay. So we have alternation here. Okay. With an extended third wave, right? We have the stuff in the middle, right? So we can come down and we have from here 1, a zigzag 2, 3, and this has another extension right here, right? Another triangle here. Now this one's a barrier triangle, but 4 and 5. Okay. And we'll come down and that will be micro as well. And I'll make that a different color just so it's cool to see, right? Boom. Okay. So no 1 degree smaller, which is the extension. We have 1, 2, 3, barrier triangle 4. Okay. What a barrier triangle looks like. Right. It's almost like a contracting triangle, but the B and the D, okay, end up at roughly the same level. Okay. They don't have to be exact, but we'll go 1 degree lower here. Get this 4 down here, right? So before you say, oh, the D went higher than the B, that's not legal. It is legal. It's not legal for a contracting triangle. Okay. So like this is a contracting triangle. That's not legal. This wouldn't be legal for a contracting triangle, but it is what's called a barrier triangle. And in a barrier triangle, B and D end at roughly the same level. They don't have to be exact, but roughly the same level that creates a barrier, right? And then the A, C, and the E do contract so that when the triangle is over with, it always breaks to the side of the barrier. A barrier triangle always breaks to the side of the barrier, okay? So as you contract the A, C, and E waves, then the barrier breaks. And it's no different than any other triangle as far as being terminal. So anything that happens after triangle is the last move of that degree. Like you can't have anything beyond that for that degree, right? So that degree is over once the post-triangle thrust is finished. Okay. So there we have that, right? And then you have yet another little extension here. Okay, a third wave of a third wave extension, which you had 1, 2, a little zigzag here, 3, another triangle, 4, 5. Okay, so that's going to be 1 degree lower. And we'll make that one orange just because it's a different color. Okay, you have 5 waves up here, and this is a little ending diagonal to finish this 1, and a very quick little zigzag 2, and then you're off into your 3, which you get yet another triangle. Okay. And we have to come to a smaller degree to see that one. I'll just come all the way down to the hourly for that one. Just typically as low as I want to go on this, but We'll go ahead and throw a label on that one, adjust these out. Okay, and we'll go ahead and label this triangle. Right, lots of triangles in this thing. A, B, C, D, E. And that's going to be 1 degree lower. Boom, boom. Come on, buddy. Get in there. Put that 4 where it's supposed to go. There. Okay, and then you get your post-triangle thrust. Again, no different. It's always the final, whatever happens after the triangle is the final of that degree, right? This had a barrier triangle, final of that degree. This had a contracting triangle, final of that degree, okay? So we have that, and that's not going to change. We're going to come back to a bigger time frame now. Come back to at least the 4 hour. So now that we have that all labeled out, right? That is, the question now remains, does this 5 go here, right? And I don't know the answer to that yet, okay? We'll leave that labeling there, but we'll talk about the bullish case only because I have the 4 set here, okay? So if that's the 3, okay, or the 3 of the 3, this could be the 3 of the 3, right? Then you're dealing now, this price action going forward, this is going to go sideways from here because you got a zigzag here. So now this should move sideways, right? From the bullish case, we now are going to label this part. 1, 2, that's your 3 of your 3. We're now in progress, 4 and 5, right? So let's bump this up 1 degree here. And we'll make that one green. Why not? Okay. So we have a zigzag already here, right? So we expect this to move sideways. Is it going to be another triangle? Maybe. I don't know. We have a lot of triangles already, so I would highly doubt that. I'm thinking more probably a flat. Okay. And this is my idea that this is going to be a 3-wave move, probably some sort of zigzag. Okay, zigzag family. That comes down to maybe here, right? And then you're going to get in a little expansion. Okay, and then 5 waves down to clear out slow right here from this triangle. Because triangles tend to get retraced no matter what degree, almost all the time. Okay, so it would make a lot of sense to get a little flat here into the new year. Okay, and that's where your green 4 would go. Right, you take out this low, this liquidity, get everybody bearish, and then you're off into your 5th, the green one, right? Which means then this would move up here, right? Once you know you have that, then you know you're getting the rest of it, right? If this high, this current high breaks, right, you know, even if it comes down, you know then for a high degree of certainty that you're on this count. You're getting a 4 to go with this one, and you're going to get a 4 to go with this one. Okay, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. So a little expanded flat here, throw everybody off, take out this low, which actually would probably measure very nicely too. Typical retracement level for a 4th wave that isn't a triangle, all right, we haven't had one yet in this move up, is about 38.2%, generally. General kind of spot. I'm not saying that's a target like boom, you're going to hit that every sinking time. No, but generally that's about where you go. So if you measure up, okay, and you see where this 3, I'll turn these other ones off so you're not confused. Turn all this other crap off and leave the 382 on. Okay, that's generally where we're looking to head here. Is right around there from this move. Okay. And that all matches up, and the price action shows where that should go. Does it have to hit that exactly? No. See, where I drew it is very slightly short of it. Can it go further than that? Sure. Right? Nobody's going to sit here and say, oh, it's not a good Fibonacci ratio because it didn't hit exactly to the penny. Right? Anywhere in this general area is fine. Okay. So, and then you have your 5th. Now the question is going to be, are you getting a 1-to-1 5th of equality? Because you already have a lot of extension going on here. Or is the 5th wave also going to be extended? I don't know the answer to that. Okay, but I would imagine I actually don't even know, right? I really don't know. It depends how the reaction would come off. So if you get something equivalent to something like this size off of this low, let's say it ended right there, right? And you get kind of a move like this and a move like this that matches the amplitude of this stuff, then I would say, yeah, you're getting an extension, right? You're going to come up and then you're going to get a little extension in here, a little 4 and a 5, and that's how you're going to get up really high with an extension like that. Okay. However, if it's just a solid push to a new high like that, right? That's going to be it, right? Then you're looking for equality. And in that case, you're going to pull out your extension tool here. You're going to measure for equality, right? Assuming that's where it bottoms, right? But you're going to look for equality, and you're looking around 107, right? So I can actually redraw that. Whoop. And you're looking for 107-ish, right? Same thing goes here. Does it have to be exactly to the stinking penny? No, it doesn't. Okay, anywhere in the area. And then that would finish the green one. Okay, and then you have this one to deal with. All right, so let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that, and we'll leave that there for now. Okay, and we go one more. 1, 2, and that would be your 3. Okay, that would be your finished 3. And then we got to figure out where the 4 goes, right? So we're going to leave those floating for now. Let's change the color on this. I'll make that one yellow again. And we'll go up 1 degree. Okay, and then we have to, so this is sharp. So you expect something sideways in your 4th wave. Okay, so we already had a triangle here. We had a lot of triangles coming up, so I wouldn't expect that again. Assuming we got an expanded flat here, I would say either a regular flat or a double 3. Okay, a double 3 like we got small right here, right? But let's just go with the regular flat theory. Why not? Okay, we'd have to see. We're getting cart way before the horse, but this is what it would look like. Okay, so you get, well, first of all, you put where you think it should go, right? So, we should go to about 38.2, right? It's reasonably where it should go. Okay, so then you get, boom. This is what a regular flat would look like. Boom. Boom, or maybe very slightly beyond, but generally just about to that point. Okay. And then that would be your forum. Okay. And then you have your question of, where does your 5th go? Right. So in this case, equality likely doesn't make much sense, right? Because you can already tell, I can measure it and it doesn't make sense, right? You measure, and if it got to that point, then you're looking at just barely making a new high. Okay. Which is certainly possible, but more likely, I think you would be looking for an extension here in your 5th wave. Okay. And I'm going to go to a higher time frame on this. Let's go up to the daily now. Okay, to put this in perspective. We don't necessarily need those anymore. We can get rid of those. Just wanted to show you for comparison. And then an extension would be something. So your first wave would probably be 1-to-1 with that, right? So if you measure in linear, we're looking at about 98. Okay. Let's go back to log. And get my polyline. So what did I say? About 98-ish. Maybe a little bit too far. Right about there. 1, 2, big push, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. and that would be it. That would be all she wrote. Okay, if you're getting an extension like that. Okay, and then if you look at it, that's how then you get your extended fifth wave. Okay, so it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Extended fifth. Okay. And that's how that would look. Okay. In a roundabout sense. Now, let's go back to that monthly view. Right, and that's where your phi would go, right there, right? Boom. Let's spread this out a bit. Look at what we drew. Okay. Now, here's kind of the problem that I have with it. Okay. Not to say that it's a huge deal, but here on this monthly view, like you can clearly see this second wave. You can clearly see this fourth wave. If you're going to put in an extension for a fifth wave, I would expect on a monthly view to clearly see several monthly candles like that before you headed off into this part like that. And we didn't get that. And that's what's concerning to me. Because on this view, this doesn't make, but you can't see the two, right? Whereas if you go back in time to see like kind of the smallest thing we can see here, right? This one at least you can see, right? This one you can see. This one you can see, right? You go back over here, it's invisible. You can't see it. And that's what's kind of not leading me in that direction right now. I'm certainly prepared for it. Okay, just like I was prepared for this push here. But let's come back down to the daily. Okay, and let's talk about an alternative. Okay, and this is going to be the bearish alternative. So let's get rid of all this garbage we don't need. All right. So let's get rid of that. 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 We don't need this. Okay, and we don't need this. Okay, because this is going to be the bearish alternative. The rest of this stays. We know from this point right here, we have a clean impulse, right? Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this 5, I'm going to drag it right back to where it was right here. Okay. And this is what I want to show you. And I'm going to move this 4. Because we talked about earlier, we talked about right here is a double 3, right? Well, if we have a zigzag here, okay. Well, what can a zigzag be part of, right? And the answer to that is what have we been counting all the way up, right? Is a triangle. So if we have a zigzag here, we've already counted it out. It is a zigzag. That means it can be an A wave. And that means that can be a B wave. That means that can be a C wave. That means that can be a D wave. And that means that can be an E wave, right? Because there's some ambiguity. Now you say, oh, how can that be a 1 and also be a zigzag, right? Okay, I'll answer your question for you. Let's zoom into what used to be a 1, okay, and now we have labeled a B. Let's go ahead and change this to the correct degree, okay? Now, if we look at this and we measure it out, this can be counted in 2 different ways, okay? What we have here is a regular simple zigzag, right? This can be counted as a leading expanding diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay, of all zigzags, right? So these are all zigzags going up into a leading expanding diagonal. Leading expanding diagonal can be a wave 1, right? All diagonals, no matter what kind it is, all diagonals also meet the rules to be a double zigzag. Okay. And the rules of a expanding diagonal, by the way, in this case, 4 is bigger than 2, right? Which is what makes it expanding. So if this is the 2, you can clearly see the 4 is bigger than the 2, right? And if we measure the 3, now you're supposed to do this in linear, okay? Linear is the rule, okay? It meets the rule in log, but let me go to linear and let me show you. So now I'm in linear and it also meets the rule, right? But linear is the rule. Log doesn't matter. It's linear is what is the rule, but it does meet the rule in linear, as you can see. And 5 is longer than 3, which means it could be an expanding diagonal, right? And that's where you see these expanding trend lines like this, right? You connect the 2 and the 4, and you connect the 3 and the 5, right? Next, actually, the 1 and the 3. 1 and the 3, sorry, boop, right? And that's how you get your megaphone pattern, right? So, that being said, like I previously mentioned, every diagonal, I don't care if it's contracting or expanding, can also be counted as a double zigzag. So what you have here, you can go A, B, C, right? This can be anything it wants to. And then another diagonal here. So then you would have A, B, and C. Okay? And so the two zigzags connected together by whatever the heck this wants to be, in this case, a double zigzag, okay, is W, X, and Y. Okay? And actually, I'm going to bring this up. Okay, this double zigzag right here, we're going to go back and talk about it because there's been people who argued in the past that a double zigzag cannot be part of a leading or any kind of diagonal, which is simply not the case. The book does not say that. It just says zigzag. It does not specify whether it can be a double zigzag or anything. It just says zigzag. Where it does specify is in the case of a combination pattern. It very specifically says in the book that a combination pattern is made up of simple patterns, the actionary wave. So the W and the Y have to be simple patterns, i.e. a 5-3-5 zigzag, right? It cannot be a double. You can't have a W wave that is a combination pattern. It specifically says that in the book. Anybody who argues otherwise is 100% and undeniably wrong. It is implicitly mentioned in the book. Okay, or rather I should say explicitly mentioned in the book that a W wave has to be a simple pattern. And that's of any combination, whether it's a double 3 or it's a double zigzag, doesn't matter. All W waves, all Y waves have to be simple patterns. Okay. So anyway, there we go. Double zigzag, right? Which is allowed to be a component of a triangle. So you have a simple pattern A, double zigzag for B, zigzag C, zigzag D, zigzag E. Boom. Okay, but as we brought up earlier, right? Okay, debunking, that can't be a triangle. It fucking is, bro. Here it is, the barrier triangle. You can't tell me it's anything else. We have it in hindsight now. You can't say that's a 1-2 of something else. You can't. You already have the waves, right? Same thing here. Barrier triangle, where B and D end at roughly the same level. Okay, they don't have to be exact to the dollar. Roughly the same level, and A and C and E contract. A and C and E contract. Fourth wave, barrier triangle, A, B, C, D, E. Which means that this, which we've already counted as an impulse, that all the bulls who were just watching my video went, yay, look at this impulse. It goes both ways, my man. It goes both ways. So that this could be the fifth of the fifth of the fifth of the fifth of the fifth. Okay, this is the bearish alternative. How do we erase this bearish alternative? Only one thing needs to happen for me to go, nope, that wasn't it. There's only one thing that needs to happen, and this high needs to break. That's the only thing that needs to happen. Break this high. I don't care if you break it correctively. I don't care if you break it impulsively. I don't care if you break this high right here, and this count is out. Until that happens, it's viable. Okay. So, what evidence do we have that is pointing to that? Well, let me go ahead and I'm going to hide all this stuff because I can get rid of it because I have it somewhere else. We're going to get rid of all this garb. Okay, I'm going to take it slow because I don't want to delete something I don't want to. And you guys got plenty of time, right? If you don't want to watch me delete this stuff, then go ahead and fast forward 15 seconds or something, okay? Because that's about all it's going to take. All right, so we got rid of all that. All right, now we're just going to look at this base orange 5-wave count, all right? Now we're in log, and we're going to look for two things. So generally in an impulse, this impulse does not contain an extension, okay? We want to see equality between 1 and 4. So if we put the 4 there, we could see in log, all right, that we don't have 1-to-1, okay? Doesn't necessarily mean much, but in log it doesn't, and in linear, it definitely doesn't, right? Okay, but so log equality is off the table, okay? Now, interestingly enough, not that it means much, because we can't get a subdivision to support it, if we take this and we put where the 4 was before, we do have equality. Just barely kind of shot past it, right? But more importantly, what we have, if we now measure, because you can have equality in multiple different things. Okay, you can have it in time, you can have it in price, you can have it in logarithmic price, you can have it in percentage. Okay, so if we measure the first wave, okay, it's roughly 100%. I'm trying to get down to the exact. I'm swagging it, but you can see there, roughly 100% move for wave 1, right? And this one is about 76%. Okay, so we don't have equality there. Interestingly enough, if you measure from this right here, where the 4 used to be, you do have it. You're within 10% at least, right? So you have another guideline you can look at, right? And that would be 61.8% of 1 and 3. Okay, so we measure that out, and then we pull up. Well, we're concerned with is 61.8. So this is in log. It's way up here. Okay, and then in linear, we already know it's nowhere close, right? So it's already blown past that, right? So we don't have a guideline in any Fibonacci terms, okay? Your other one would be, whoops, get rid of that. If you had an extension, okay? So if you would consider this third wave an extension, which I don't, okay? But if you did consider an extension, you then would measure 61.8% of the third wave, okay? In which case, you do have it. You know, we passed a little bit, but that's in the range, in the realm, okay? Otherwise, the only thing you really have going for you with this bear count. Now, mind you, okay, we have the benefit of hindsight in the past, and we know for a fact some certain things, right? So I'm going to use this as an example of this, all right? So we know that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 right there. Okay. Let's go ahead and come down to minor, and we'll change that just to make it look right. Okay. All right, if you measure this one, you don't get that either, right? So if we measure that, so that's the first wave, okay? And what you're looking for is 1-to-1 here. Come on. That was way up here, right? Never got close to it, right? That if you're 1-to-1 with your 1 and 5, you'd expect in that 5 to come way up here, okay? And this is a problem you run into with these exponential markets. You come down a linear, not even close, right? Not even remotely close, which makes sense because this is an exponential asset, okay? And the other thing I said you can look at is 61.8% of 1 through 3. And also way up here, right? So we didn't measure well on that one either, and that one ended too. What we did have is a complete 5-wave move, right? I'm not going to go back through every impulse in time, but here we are living that life with what could conceivably be a completed pattern. If we start coming down here, right? If we start breaking, we start coming down into this again, like this is over. I'm telling you right now, it's over. The bull run is done. Like you cannot come down back into here. Can't do it. Okay. Cannot do it. All right. Your only other alternative would be, let's see, there's one more bullish alternative in that your 4 is here. Okay. But this would also account for this being complete. Okay. Is that you have a leading diagonal here, right? So you would go, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leading diagonal here. So 1, 2, zigzag 2, same impulse we were just counting. Okay. Actually, it would have to, sorry, I'm 1 off on that one. It would be 1, 2, right? So leading diagonal 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to here, 3, triangle 4, 5. It still means, I'll go down 1 degree on that, but it still means that this is complete, right? Unless it's going to be an extension, right? This would be your only outside shot, is that you got a 3-wave move down into here, and that's 1, 2 of the final extension, right? That would be your only outside chance into that one. But problem with that is, like we said, we already measured out that we have reasonably, we said about 100%, and from here, about 100%, right? We're within 10% of that, then a reasonable margin of error. You have, like, for this count, you have equality between 1 and 5. Okay, and that would be the only argument against that is that you've met a guideline. So what else is the market trying to improve? Prove, right? So again, like I said, for this count that I just showed, for this bearish triangle count that I showed, it's very simple. All you need to do is break that high. That's it. And then it all goes out the window. And then it's game on. That this is all what I originally showed. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then you got 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5 through the rest of the year. Okay. And that is the Bitcoin's analysis. We had some pretty good entries on this, right? If you're thinking about becoming a member. I had an entry here to catch all of this move, which I got out of actually on this last push. Saw that triangle. I pointed it out in the chat. Said get up here. Let's make sure that this is the final thrust, and I exited the position. So that was good to go. Currently identified a short position just for a swing. This isn't to hold for a long time. But currently identified a short position, which explained in the Chart Wizard Trading Discord server. This pullback here, all right, we got to about 78.6% on that retrace in 3 waves, okay? And 78.6 doesn't mean much, okay? But we had a 3-wave move here with, if we went even small, I don't really want to go smaller, but we kind of ran into resistance here. And I have another method that I also use to help enter that I'm not going to say here, but I will say in the chat on Discord, and I have in the past. But there was a specific type of entry we had there with a stop up here, and that's pretty good so far. And just hope to ride this short down for a little bit. I'm not looking to hold this forever, but essentially turn this move, all right, into a 3-wave move, and then I'm looking to take profit on it. That's it. That's all I'm looking for on this move. If it ends up being that this is, 1-2 of a completed bear market or a completed bull market, then I'll look for another spot to get in. But I'm not 100% on that yet, just like I'm not 100% on the bear market yet or the bull market yet. So until I'm 100%, I'm not. I'm just looking to swing trade that on that short, and I want to see the market prove some stuff. But we'll have more entries. Post the analysis, a new video weekly at Chart Wizard Trading, and anything important that crops up during the week, we talk about that in the chat. So wavecounts.com if you're interested. Until then, trade safe and trade smart. Trade like a wizard. I'm out.